The Christmas tree in my parents' living room cost $400. I knew because my mother had mentioned it 17 times since I'd arrived that morning. $400 for a 9-foot Douglas fir from a specialty tree farm in Vermont, complete with delivery and professional installation. It's not really Christmas unless you invest in quality, she'd said, adjusting a $60 ornament shaped like a crystal snowflake. Some people might think that's extravagant, but we believe in doing things right. She'd looked directly at me when she said it. I was sitting on the couch in a sweater I'd bought at Target 3 years ago, $22 on clearance. My jeans were from Old Navy. My boots were from DSW, purchased during a buy-one-get-one sale. I looked exactly like what my family had always accused me of being: cheap. Around me, 12 relatives had gathered for Christmas dinner. My parents, my brother Derek and his wife Amanda, my sister Nicole and her husband Jason, my aunt Cheryl and Uncle Bob, my cousins Kristen and Michael, and Michael's new girlfriend whose name I could unremember because no one had bothered to introduce us properly. Everyone else was dressed like they'd stepped out of a Nordstrom catalog. Designer labels, expensive watches, jewelry that probably cost more than my monthly rent used to cost before I paid off my condo. My mother appeared from the kitchen carrying a tray of appetizers, prosciutto wrapped figs with goat cheese, each one probably costing $3. Everyone help yourselves. These are from that wonderful Italian deli downtown. Derek, didn't you love these when I served them at Thanksgiving? They're amazing, Mom, Derek said, taking 3. He was wearing a Rolex, a gift from our parents for his promotion to senior account manager. You really know how to entertain. Well, I believe in treating my family well. Some people might serve cheese and crackers from Costco. Another pointed look at me. But I think special occasions deserve special food. I took a sip of water and said nothing. I'd learned long ago that defending myself only made things worse. Better to sit quietly and wait for dinner to be over. Nicole, show everyone your new bracelet. My mother sighed, practically bouncing with excitement. Nicole held up her wrist, showing off a diamond tennis bracelet that caught the light from the Christmas tree. Jason got it for me for our anniversary. 3 carats total. It's stunning, Aunt Cheryl gushed. Jason, you spoil her. She deserves it, Jason said, squeezing Nicole's hand. I don't believe in being cheap when it comes to the woman I love. My mother beamed. That's what I've always said. When you love someone, you show it through your generosity. Through grand gestures. Through, she looked at me again, not being stingy about money. Speaking of which, Derek interjected, Amanda and I just booked our vacation for next summer. 2 weeks, in Santorini. We're staying at that place you recommended, Mom. The one with the infinity pool and the private beach. Oh, that's wonderful. How much did that run you? About $18,000 total, with flights and everything. But you only live once, right? Everyone agreed enthusiastically. You only live once. Life's too short to be cheap. Money is meant to be spent. Treat yourself. I sat quietly, my phone in my pocket, my banking app open to a spreadsheet I'd been maintaining for 6 years. A spreadsheet nobody in this room knew existed. Maya, honey, are you even listening? My mother asked. Her voice had that edge it always got when she was about to embarrass me in front of everyone. I'm listening, Mom. I was asking what you did for Christmas presents this year. For the family ID, given everyone the same thing, a jar of homemade hot cocoa mix with instructions for making the perfect cup. It had cost me about $4 per jar in ingredients, and I'd spent 3 evenings making 12 jars, designing custom labels, and packaging them in mason jars I'd bought on sale. I made hot cocoa mix, I said quietly. My mother's laugh was sharp. Oh, that's right. Your little crafts. How? ... Thrifty. It's not thrifty, Mom. It's cheap, Nicole said. She wasn't trying to be mean. This was just how she talked, how they all talked about me. I mean, we all spent at least $100 per person on gifts, and Maya shows up with hot chocolate. I spent time making them, I said. I thought, time, my mother interrupted, is not a substitute for actual generosity. Anyone can throw some cocoa powder in a jar. It takes real love to actually spend money on people. Derek nodded. Remember last year? Maya guts everyone. Those homemade cookies. Meanwhile, the rest of us actually went shopping and bought real presents. The cookies were good though, Michael said quietly. His girlfriend Sandra nodded in agreement. That's not the point, Aunt Cheryl said. The point is that Maya always does this. She always goes the cheap route. Homemade gifts, Clarence clothes, that old Honda she refuses to replace. My Honda runs fine, I said. It's 12 years old. My father spoke up for the first time. Maya, at some point, you need to invest in yourself. Buy a new car. Buy some nice clothes. Stop acting like you're broke when you have a perfectly good job. I was a financial analyst at a mid-sized consulting firm. They assumed I made maybe $60,000 a year. They assumed I was barely scraping by, living paycheck to paycheck, too poor or too incompetent to afford the lifestyle they all enjoyed. They had no idea. I'm comfortable with what I have, I said. Comfortable? My mother repeated, like it was a dirty word. Maya, comfortable is what people settle for when they don't have ambition. Your brother and sister aren't comfortable, they're thriving. They're living life to the fullest. And you're just... Cheap, Nicole finished. Let's just say it. Mom, Maya's cheap. She always has been. Remember when we went to that steakhouse for Dad's birthday and she ordered the cheapest thing on the menu? I ordered what I wanted, I said. You ordered a side salad and water, Derek said, at a $200 per person steakhouse. It was embarrassing. And last summer, Amanda added, when we all went to the beach house, Maya brought her own groceries instead of chipping in for the communal meals. Remember? I remembered. I'd offered to chip in $200 for food. Lady said it wasn't enough. Everyone else was paying $500. Heidi said I couldn't afford $500, so I'd just bring my own food. They'd made fun of me the entire week for eating sandwiches while they had lobster and steak. What they didn't know was that I could have easily afforded $500. I could have afforded $5,000. But I'd already been paying $2,800 that month for other things. Things they didn't know about. I just think, my mother said, her voice taking on that sad, disappointed tone, that at 32 years old, Maya should be past this phase. This penny pinching, coupon clipping, clearance rack phase. It's one thing to be frugal when you're young. It's another to be stingy your entire life. Maybe she's saving for something, Michael's girlfriend offered, like a house, or she already has a condo, Nicole said dismissively. A tiny one-bedroom that she bought in the cheapest neighborhood in the city. No yard, no parking, barely 600 square feet. Jason and I wouldn't even consider something that small. My condo was actually 900 square feet, in a perfectly nice neighborhood, and I'd paid $285,000 cash for it 4 years ago. No mortgage. No debt. But they'd never asked about any of that. Dinner's ready. My mother announced, everyone to the dining room. The dining table was set with china my mother had inherited from her grandmother. She mentioned this twice while we sat down. The centerpiece was a floral arrangement that cost $200. She mentioned this once. The wine was from a vineyard in Napa that she and my father had visited. She mentioned this 3 times. The food was catered honey-glazed ham, truffle mashed potatoes, roasted Brussels sprouts with bacon, cranberry sauce with orange zest, and fresh-baked rolls from a bakery that charged $8 per roll. This must have cost a fortune, Aunt Cheryl said. About $1,200. My mother said proudly. But Christmas only comes once a year. We decided to really do it right this year. Everyone helped themselves. The food was admittedly delicious. I took small portions, which my mother noticed immediately. Maya, take more. We have plenty. Unless you're planning to take leftovers home in your little Tupperware containers like last year. Last year, I'd asked if I could take home leftovers because I'd actually paid for half the catering, though no one knew that. My mother had called me ahead of time, crying that they couldn't afford Christmas dinner after my father's investment portfolio had taken a hit. Could I help just this once? Just $600. They'd pay me back after the holidays. They never paid me back. They never even acknowledged that I'd helped. And when I'd tried to take home some of the food I'd paid for, she'd made fun of me in front of everyone. I'm fine, Mom. Thank you. As we ate, the conversation turned to money. It always did in my family. Derek talked about his year-end bonus, $15,000. Nicole talked about the new Mercedes she and Jason were considering, $68,000. My parents talked about the cruise they'd booked for February, $9,000. What about you, Maya? My father asked. Any big plans for the new year? Not really. Not really. Maybe a weekend trip somewhere? A weekend trip? Derek repeated, while the rest of us are actually living. Maya, seriously, when are you going to stop being so tight with money and actually enjoy life? I enjoy my life. Do you? Nicole leaned forward. Because from where we're sitting, it looks like you're just existing, working, going home to your tiny condo, driving your ancient car, wearing clothes that look like they came from a thrift store. They did come from a thrift store, Amanda said, laughing. Look at that sweater. That's definitely secondhand. It wasn't, but I didn't correct her. I just worry about you, my mother said, and for a moment she almost sounded sincere. I worry that you're going to wake up one day at 50 years old and realize you've never really lived, that you've spent your whole life hoarding money and being afraid to spend it. I'm not hoarding money, Mom. Then what are you doing with it? You have a job. You have income. Where does it all go? This was my moment. The moment I'd been both dreading and anticipating for 6 years. I pulled out my phone. Actually, that's a good question. Where does my money go? I opened my spreadsheet, the one I updated religiously every month, tracking every payment I'd made to every family member. Let me show you. My mother frowned. Maya, put your phone away. We're having dinner. This will just take a minute. I turned my screen toward my father. Dad, do you remember 3 years ago when you called me saying you'd made some bad investments and needed help with the mortgage? You said it was temporary, just 6 months. His face went pale. Maya, I've been paying $2,100 a month toward your mortgage for 36 months. That's $75,600. The table went silent. I turned to my mother. Mom, do you remember when you said you couldn't afford Christmas dinner last year? And the year before? And the year before that, I paid $600, then $800, then $1,200. That's $2,600 total. Her mouth opened but no sound came out. Derek, I continued, looking at my brother, remember when Amanda was pregnant and you were between jobs? You needed $400 a month for 3 months to cover your car payment. That was 2 years ago. I never stopped sending the $400. 24 months times $400 is $9,600. Derek's face went red. Amanda was staring at him. Nicole, you called me 18 months ago saying you needed help with your student loans, just $350 a month until you got on your feet. Nicole's hand went to her mouth. Aunt Cheryl, you needed $2,000 for emergency dental work. Uncle Bob, you needed $1,500 for car repairs. Kristan, you needed $800 for textbooks. Michael, you needed $600 to pay off a credit card. I scrolled through my spreadsheet. The total, for everyone in this room, over the past 6 years, is $119,463. You could have heard a pin drop. So when you ask where my money goes, I said quietly, it goes to all of you. It goes to making sure Dad doesn't lose his house. It goes to funding Mom's catered dinners. It goes to Derek's car, Nicole's loans, and everyone else's emergencies. My father found his voice. Maya, I didn't know you were still paying the mortgage. I thought that was just temporary. It was supposed to be. You never told me to stop. You never said you'd taken back over. So I kept paying, because I thought you needed it. But why didn't you say something? I tried. Multiple times. You always changed the subject or said we'd talk about it later. Eventually, I realized you didn't want to talk about it. You wanted to pretend it wasn't happening so you didn't have to feel bad about taking money from your cheap daughter. Derek was staring at his plate. Maya, I swear, I forgot about the car payments. After Amanda went back to work, I forgot. You forgot because it was convenient to forget. Because as long as I was quietly paying, you didn't have to. We would have paid you back, Nicole said, but her voice was weak. When? You just bought a $4,000 bracelet and you're planning a $18,000 vacation. When exactly were you going to pay me back? She didn't answer. My mother was crying now. We didn't know it was this much. We didn't realize. You didn't realize because you never asked. You never said thank you. You never acknowledged that I was helping. Instead, you spent 6 years mocking me for being cheap, for not buying expensive gifts, for not going on elaborate vacations. You mocked me for the very frugality that allowed me to keep all of you afloat. So what are you saying? My father asked quietly. I opened my banking app. I'm saying that this ends today. Right now. I went to my automatic payment screen. 12 payments, all scheduled to process within the next week. Dad's mortgage due tomorrow. Mom's country club membership she'd asked me to cover it temporarily 2 years ago. Derek's car payment. Nicole's loan payment. 7 more payments to various family members, all quietly deducted from my account every month. What are you doing? My mother whispered. I'm canceling everything. All of it. Every automatic payment, every standing agreement, every temporary help that became permanent. Maya, wait. I clicked cancel payment on each one. Dad's mortgage, Mom's membership, Derek's car. Nicole's loans, 1 by 1. 12 clicks. 12 cancellations. There, I said, done. Then, their phones started ringing. Derek's phone, first a text alert from his bank, insufficient funds for car payment. Then Nicole's phone, an email from her student loan servicer, automatic payment declined. Then my father's phone, the mortgage company. Payment not received. Please remit immediately to avoid late fees. Then my mother's phone, the country club. Membership payment failed. Please update payment information. 1 by 1, all around the table, phones buzzed and chimed and rang with alerts and notifications and warnings. Amanda was reading Derek's phone over his shoulder. What does this mean? I thought you were paying the car off. Maya was helping me. Maya was helping you. For 2 years, while you bought me a $3,000 purse for my birthday. Nicole's husband, Jason, looked confused. I thought you paid off your student loans. I was making payments ... with Maya's money, he finished. While we bought a $68,000 car, my father set his phone down carefully. Maya, please, we can't afford the mortgage without your help. We'll lose the house. Then you'll downsize, rent an apartment, do what every other person does when they live beyond their means. But this is our home. We've lived here for 30 years. And I've been paying for it for 3 of those years. Dad, you retire next year. You should have been planning for this. You should have downsized already. Instead, you spent money on $400 Christmas trees and $9,000 cruises and assumed I'd keep covering the gap. My mother was sobbing now. We didn't mean to take advantage of you. We thought you wanted to help. I did want to help. For a while, but you made it impossible to do it with any dignity. Every time I helped you, you turned around and mocked me for being cheap. Every dollar I sent you came with a side of humiliation. We didn't know, Derek said. We honestly didn't know you were doing all this. You didn't know because you didn't want to know. It was easier to accept the money and pretend everything was fine. Aunt Cheryl spoke up, her voice small. Maya, I'm sorry about the dental work. I should have paid you back. Things got busy, and I forgot. You didn't forget. You have a $800 handbag sitting by the door. You didn't forget, you chose not to remember. The table was chaos now. People checking their phones, whispering urgently to their spouses, doing mental math about bills and payments and budgets that were about to implode. I stood up. I'm going to leave now. Thank you for dinner, Mom. The ham was delicious. Maya, please, my father said. We need to talk about this. We need to figure something out. There's nothing to figure out. You're all adults. You all have jobs. You'll figure it out like adults do. But we can't just, yes, you can. You can cut your expenses. You can cancel your cruise. You can return the $4,000 bracelet. You can trade in the Mercedes for something affordable. You can stop buying $200 flower arrangements and $8 rolls and catered dinners. You can live within your means. I picked up my purse, a practical canvas bag I'd bought at Target for $15. For what it's worth, I said, I don't regret helping you. I regret that you made me feel bad for it. I regret that the only way I could afford to be generous was by living frugally, and you punished me for that frugality. I regret that I was never good enough for this family unless I was quietly bankrolling it. My mother reached for me. Maya, you're good enough. You've always been good enough. We're sorry we made you feel otherwise. I believe you're sorry now that the money's stopped. But you weren't sorry when you called me cheap in front of everyone. You weren't sorry when you mocked my homemade gifts. You weren't sorry when you laughed about my clearance clothes and my old car. We were wrong, Nicole said. We were so wrong, and I'm sorry. Thank you. I appreciate that. I headed toward the door. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you figure things out. I sat in my 12-year-old Honda in the driveway for 5 minutes, my hands shaking on the steering wheel. My phone was already buzzing with texts. Derek, Maya, please. I can't lose my car. I need it for work. Can we talk about this? Nicole, I'm so sorry. I know I should have paid you back. Can you give me 1 more month to sort things out? Mom, please come back inside. We need to discuss this as a family. I put my phone on silent and drove home. My condo was quiet, peaceful. I decorated it simply: a small tree from the grocery store, $25, some homemade ornaments, lights from the dollar store. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. Fully paid for, no debt, no mortgage. I made myself tea and sat on my couch, looking at my Christmas tree. My phone was still buzzing with notifications, but I ignored them. I pulled up my banking app again and looked at my accounts. With all those automatic payments canceled, I'd have an extra $4,323 per month. That was $51,876 per year. I could increase my retirement contributions. I could travel. I could donate to charity. I could do anything I wanted. Or I could just keep living the way I'd been living, simply, frugally, without the burden of supporting people who didn't appreciate it. The calls continued for the next 3 days. I let them all go to voicemail. Dad's voicemail. Maya, the bank is threatening foreclosure if we don't make January's payment. Please, we need to talk. We're willing to make changes. We'll sell the house if we have to, but we need time. Can you help us one more time? Mom's voicemail. Honey, I've been thinking about everything you said. You were right. We treated you terribly. We took advantage of your kindness. Is there any way we can make this right? Derek's voicemail. My car got repossessed. Amanda is furious. She's talking about leaving me. Maya, I know I messed up. I know I should have been paying my own bills. But please, I'm drowning here. Nicole's voicemail. Jason knows everything now. We're in marriage counseling. He's making me return the bracelet and cancel the car order. We're downsizing our apartment. I just ... I wanted you to know that I'm making changes. Real changes. And, I'm sorry? On December 28th, I finally called my father back. Maya, thank God. Listen, we've talked to a realtor. We're putting the house on the market. We found a 2-bedroom apartment we can afford $1,850 a month. But we need time. The house won't sell immediately. Can you cover just 2 more months? January and February. We'll pay you back from the sale proceeds. I thought about it. If I do this, and that's a big if, it's a loan. A real loan. With a promissory note. In writing, with interest. Yes. Absolutely. Whatever you want. And Mom has to cancel her country club membership immediately, and you have to cancel the cruise. Done. Already done. Your mother canceled the membership yesterday, and we got a refund on most of the cruise minus the cancellation fee. And I want both of you to go to a financial counselor, someone who can help you make a realistic budget and stick to it. We will. I promise. I'll think about it. I'll let you know by New Year's. On December 30th, I met my grandmother for lunch. She was the only family member who had been at Christmas dinner. She'd been visiting my uncle in California. I heard about what happened, she said, as we sat down at a diner near her house. Your mother called me crying for 2 hours. I'm sure she painted me as the villain. Actually, she said you were right about everything. She said she was ashamed of how they'd treated you. I stirred my coffee. I didn't want it to go like that, Grandma. I didn't plan to make a scene on Christmas, but they just kept pushing and pushing, and I finally hit my limit. Good. You should have hit your limit years ago. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Maya, I've watched your family take advantage of you for years. I tried to say something, but you always made excuses for them. I'm proud of you for finally standing up for yourself. Was I too harsh? Were they too harsh when they called you cheap in front of everyone? When they mocked your gifts, and your clothes, and your car? No, I guess not. You gave them 6 years of financial support. They gave you 6 years of contempt. You don't owe them anything else. Dad wants me to help 2 more months while they sell the house. Should I? Grandma thought about it. Do you think they've learned their lesson? I don't know. Maybe. Then help them one last time. But get it in writing and make sure they understand that this is absolutely the last time. No more emergencies. No more temporary help. They need to stand on their own 2 feet. On January 2nd, I met my parents at a lawyer's office. We signed a promissory note for $4,200, 2 months of mortgage payments. The note included 5% interest and a payment schedule. If they didn't pay me back within 90 days of selling the house, the interest rate would increase to 10%. My father read the entire document carefully. This is very formal. It needs to be. No more handshake agreements that turn into 6 years of automatic payments. He nodded. That's fair. My mother signed the document, her hand shaking slightly. Maya, I want you to know that we're making real changes. That's good, Mom. And I want to apologize. Really apologize. Not because we need your money, but because we treated you horribly. We were so focused on keeping up appearances, the big house, the expensive dinners, the fancy vacations, that we forgot what actually matters. We forgot to appreciate the daughter who is quietly making all of that possible. I felt tears prickling my eyes. Thank you for saying that. Mean Italiano. You deserved so much better from us. My parents' house sold in March for $620,000. After paying off the mortgage and settling other debts, they had $180,000 left. They paid me back the $4,200 plus interest, $210 immediately. They put the rest in investments and moved into their 2-bedroom apartment. Derek got his car back after Amanda took over the payments. They downsized their lifestyle. Significantly no more expensive dinners, no more luxury purchases. Derek took a second job on weekends to rebuild their savings. Nicole and Jason moved to a smaller apartment and created a strict budget. Nicole got a part-time job on top of her full-time work. They started paying down their debts systematically. As for me, I took the money I'd been spending on family emergencies. But mostly, I just kept living the way I'd been living, simply. Intentionally, without the weight of other people's expectations or their financial needs on my shoulders. In July, my mother invited me to lunch. Just the 2 of us. At a casual restaurant she'd never have considered before, the kind of place with a $12 lunch special. This place is great, she said, looking at the menu. I can't believe we never came here before. It's been here for 15 years, Mom. I know. I guess I was too busy chasing expensive experiences to notice the good things that were right in front of me. She set down her menu. Maya, I wanted to tell you that I'm glad you stopped helping us. I know that sounds strange, but it's true. We needed to learn this lesson. We needed to understand that we couldn't sustain the life we were living. How are you doing? Really? Really? Better than I expected. The apartment is small, but it's cozy. We don't have expensive hobbies anymore, but we take walks in the park. We cook together. We actually talk to each other instead of just planning our next big purchase. She smiled. I think we're happier now than we were in that big house. I'm glad, Mom. Are you happy, Maya? Yeah. I really am. Good. That's all I ever wanted for you. Even when I was being awful about the money stuff underneath all of that, I did want you to be happy. I just had a very warped idea of what happiness looked like. We ate our $12 lunches and split a piece of pie for dessert. And for the first time in years, I felt like I was actually having a meal with my mother, not with someone who was secretly calculating how much they could ask me for next month. Sometimes the best gift you can give someone is the opportunity to stand on their own 2 feet, even if it takes 12 relatives' phones exploding with payment alerts on Christmas Day to make it happen.